for me, I feel like a lot of my lyrics are like they serve as an outlet. So it's like if I'm angry, if I'm really sad, if there's like something I kind of like need to have an outlet for, just like something I need to get out of my system, I could like put the pen to the paper and it kind of helps getting it out. So that I feel like that's kind of what our music does, you know, like it acts like as a form of like an outlet or catharsis for like all of this frustration and all these like feelings that might be a little bit hard, like telling people, like so sometimes like if you're having a nice dinner with your friends, it might not be that easy to say, hey, I thought about killing myself yesterday. I was like, that's really bad. Like,
yeah, everyone just puts the knives and forks down like, what?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah, it doesn't yeah, it kind of sets the mood a bit, but
exactly.
But it's important to like open up about that stuff, I think, you know, if whether it be through lyrics or otherwise. So for you, is it a lyrics very personal to you, or do you write about other things like other about society or stories? You know, some people write like more story based songs. Are your lyrics more tied to you personally?
I think my lyrics are very tied to me personally. Sometimes they'll also be like a broader subject that I'm like exploring or venting about, but it'll always be kind of bound in my like how I view the world. It's kind of like hard for it not to, because I'm writing it. I feel like the first, like for the EP and the first album, we're doing like some more of a like loose conceptual, like that we wrote about this death cult thing, but all of the stuff had like hidden meanings that were kind of like rooted in how I was feeling and like my worldviews, and but built like placed within this world where hooded people drag kids into the forest and sacrifice them. Like,
yeah, so it's a few different ideas going on, but the with kind of writing about more personal things, do you ever find yourself a bit afraid to write about a certain topic because you're worried about, oh, what will this person think, or do I want to talk about this yet? Like, am I ready to, you know, is that ever something that happens?
I think the only concern I have is like, okay, if somebody asks me about these lyrics, this is something that I really feel comfortable talking about in a possibly like public setting. And I've just like come to terms with like that if people ask, I'm just gonna be open and talk about it. Like, but some of the stuff I probably wouldn't bring up unless like probed about it.
Yeah, it's I feel like there's that weird thing where like I said this on not so long ago actually, someone else, where so I used to write the lyrics for my old band mainly. Anyway.
What was your old band called? I'm just kind of curious now.
The band was called Insurgent. We weren't that big. We didn't really get particularly big. But
check it out afterwards. Though.
Yeah, you can have a listen. I can send you some stuff. I was a guitarist, but I also wrote the lyrics and sort of a lot of the vocal ideas as well. So what would happen is we go to the studio and like the producer was asking me about like the meaning behind some of the lyrics, and like one of the songs is kind of quite dark and like maybe not dark, but it was quite like upsetting, the idea. And all the guys in the band were like, "Are you okay? Like, are you sure you're okay?" Like, yes, I'm fine. It's just like, so yeah, it's weird because you sometimes can end up opening up. I think when you're on your own and you put all the pen to paper, obviously no one's watching you. So then, but you forget the idea that actually everyone's going to hear this, you know?
Yeah.
So it's weird. So do you ever work collaboratively with the band with lyrics? Do you ever kind of bounce ideas off each other, or is it very much you taking the lyrics to the band?
I write the lyrics. Like our old bass player, he wrote I think he wrote 2 songs. And then sometimes I don't really have the problem anymore. But when we started out, I was still like, I had for like a handful of years moved over to playing the bass, so I hadn't been doing vocals for a while. And I was just like, sometimes I'd be like, let's just break down, also because our stuff was like a bit more tick nerdy back when we started out. So sometimes I'd be like, I don't know what to write here. I don't know how to fit the words on these fucking weird rhythms. So I'd have the guys help me out. But now it's more like it's become second nature to me, and I'll just show him and just like we have usually like even though we have something we feel finished, we always show everybody like, okay, this is what I'm thinking. Like also just on the off chance that some of the guys is like, no, you can't write that. I won't stand for it now. Which hasn't happened yet because I don't think I'm that controversial. I'm just depressed.
Yeah, it's so has music always been, and I guess because we talked about other creative things, have they always been throughout your life? Has that been something that you've been able to rely on when in harder times in life? Is that something that you? Because weirdly, like it sounds odd, but like whenever I've been, this might almost sound like a non-musician answer, but if I'm ever upset about something, I don't know if music is the thing that maybe I rely on. I think I go to other things when I'm upset, but I know so many people, music is like the thing that helps them. Where do you kind of, what is music the thing that you kind of, or one of the things you fall back on in the harder times for you?
I think it can definitely like help, and also sometimes it can be like this feeling of, okay, I'm feeling like this guy feels sad too in the song, so I guess I'm not alone or something like that. I don't really know. I don't feel like, at least for me, besides that, maybe feeling like somebody else feels the same way. I don't feel it solves problems. I think I'm also very pragmatic about that, because I don't like saying, if I have a problem, sitting down and listening to a song might make me feel better for 5 minutes, but that's gonna solve my problem. Like